Go to the second part of our webinar, which is answering questions. You see there's a pin post. This is the standard. Every week we do that. You go to the pin post, post your questions based on the template, and we go through them. So we have 6 questions so far. I think it's more than enough to answer within the 15 minutes that we have. Let's just start with Mojdeh. My current situation is I recently immigrated to Toronto and come from a background in economics, investment consulting, and financial market. I also have experience in insurance and financial analysis, but I'm struggling to position myself in the Canadian job market and get interviews for strong financial roles. My desired situation, I want to land a great role in finance, asset management, banking, fintech, or investment related fields where I can grow long term, build a strong network, and eventually become financially successful in North America. Therefore, my question is how can I strategically position myself as an experienced immigrant professional with international finance experience so Canadian employers see my value and give me opportunities? What would you focus on first if you were in my position? Okay, Mojda. So looks like you're a new immigrant and you're struggling with the position. So the most important thing that I teach in my courses about positioning is first to do a very broad research of the demand. So you need to understand the demand in the Canadian job market and what kind of roles is out there in finance and asset management. And by saying what kind of roles is that, what kind of job description, what are they trying to have you do on a daily basis? Once you understand that, and you can identify what you've done in the past and make a good story about what you can do. And then strategically, if you want to position you as an experienced immigrant, that's your pitch. That's exactly what I was talking about in interview. How you present your values so those companies will understand your value and actually they want to trust you and give you those opportunities. So it's all about a series of actions that you need to take and then practice it every one of them little by little. What is the demand in job market? Check. Can I solve those demand? Can I solve those problems? Check. How can I present? What is my pitch? How can I present? Check. Learn the networking basics. Go to core program. We do have that in Mastermind. Networking. How do I connect with these people in my industry? Check. Now I'm connected. What do I say? Check. Now I'm in interview. How do I present these values that I created? So it's a lot of things that you need to work on. But as a new immigrant, I feel like most of new immigrants having understanding the market and understanding the language and the nuances in the language which takes time. So you can only practice. That's all I can tell you. If you're a new immigrant, just keep practicing, because if you don't practice, and one way to practice is to get more interviews, and we teach you how to get more interviews. I hope this was enough, but yeah, you have many things to fix on before you can go to interviews and impress. Sepi, my current situation is I have several years of experience in marketing and sales, and I recently transitioned into UX UI through certification and self learning. Perfect. My desired situation is to find a career path where my previous experience is still valuable while also giving me opportunities. Okay, if you come from sales and marketing, your experience is always valuable, regardless of where you go and what you do. Okay, that's number one. That's key. So you're coming from a very good foundation. And UX, where you're going, perfect. Lots of opportunities, high pay, ability to do remote, and that's a very good decision too. So my question is, in today's job market, what's the smartest strategy with someone like me applying directly for entry level UX role without experience, or leveraging my marketing back first and transit graduate? So Sepi, this depends on your proficiency in UX. If you have done a certificate and did self-learning, it all depends on the how that company that you're going, the target company, will see you as a senior or a junior, depending on your UX experience. If you don't know nothing, if you're very basic, then yes, we look at entry level. but that's not sometimes good because you come from a background with sales and marketing. But the good news is you can grow fast. But my suggestion always to members is that gain some basic levels of, like, have a portfolio at least in UX. Okay, have a portfolio sellable, because you're coming from sales and marketing. You need to be able to make a sellable portfolio that can be advertised to recruiters. Once you have that portfolio, and because by making that portfolio, you showcase that you have basic understanding and basic qualifications, right? In UX. If you have that, then going to senior roles is not a problem, and you can definitely use your marketing and sales background just by promoting yourself to those jobs. Because not necessarily when you do an UX, your marketing and sales skills will come handy directly, but it definitely comes indirectly to your help to make you a better candidate. Also, when you get the job, it makes you a better candidate to grow and come up with better ideas on how to do UX, so it has a better so use your marketing and sales skill set in terms of providing your value as a better UX. Because, guys, UX is all about user experience, right? And if I'm coming from a marketing background, I can definitely make better user experience that sells more, that closes more, that makes more money to any business. So use that to prove to the recruiter or the manager that you're a very good candidate for their UX, because you understand sales and marketing in terms of increasing the ROI for the company. That would be my biggest focus. So, Seema, I have a master's degree in accounting. It's been a year and a half since I immigrated. Even though I know my accounting experience very strong, I haven't been able to find a job. So, two different things, guys. Knowing something is strong doesn't mean that you can find a job. Finding a job means that you know how to find a job strongly. Or let me put it that way. It's just a skill. Finding a job is a skill of how to find a job, nothing to do with your experience. So I've seen people with very, very little experience get jobs. I've seen people with a lot of years of experience get jobs because they both know how to get jobs. And I've seen both. I've seen people with lots of years of experience cannot get job because they simply don't know how to get job. So to start and gain Canadian experience, I'm actively looking at entry level roles such as accounting, payable, bookkeeping, and account receivable, so I can get into Canadian company environment that grow from there. I truly believe if I had done proper networking earlier, I should have been able to secure one of these roles because these are not senior positions. I shouldn't. Again, this is another mindset problem you have. Assumption wrong. A lot of immigrants, guys, come with a lot of assumptions. Unfortunately, back home, a lot of assumptions. We're grown like that. We're taught like that to have assumptions of everything. This is another wrong assumptions. It doesn't have anything to do with senior position or junior. If you have a network, you need to have a network. So you're saying if you had a network, you could get a junior position, not senior position. And you said senior position are out of reach. Totally wrong. Senior positions are actually is easier in reach than junior positions because there are just less people fighting for that. Okay. So also, do you think I definitely need to obtain a local Canadian certification and improve my chance of getting interviews? Again, another wrong assumption. You have lots of wrong assumptions, Sima. Um, Nothing, any interviews or securing a role has nothing to do with certifications, guys. You think that it is, but it's not. If you know networking, if you learn how to talk to recruiters, you get interviews. This is what we teach in Mastermind. You get 5 interviews per month. Get securing a role. Okay, now for securing, either you have experience, which you have, you can pass the interview, or you don't have experience, you get a certification just to gain that experience. That's all. That's why we do certifications. If you don't know nothing, if you come from a background, a skill set, you don't need certification. Certification doesn't give you a job. Yourself, your presence, your interview skills, your ability to show you have value for them does. Certification alone doesn't do anything. What should I do to start getting interviews, and how can I handle those interviews effectively once a year? I see you're level 2, so you probably didn't watch the 7 days. challenge, you have to be level 3. So level up, watch the challenge. In the challenge, you will learn a lot about networking and how to get interviews. But once you're done with that, you can also think about mastermind. I don't know, like 1 year immigration, maybe you're not a good fit for mastermind. I usually ask people to be at least 4 or 5 years into the country before they come to mastermind. You might be able to join the mastermind, but I would say finish the 7 days challenge because that will give you a lot of insights. But getting interviews consistently requires being in mastermind, networking consistently to be able to get that knowledge to how to unlock 5 interviews. And you need to have a good English command. I don't know about your English. You need to have a good, very good language skills. Work on that too. In this community, guys, the moment you talk and write, read English, it's all going to help your language skills too. Majid, my current situation is I've been jobless for about 3 months. My desired situation is to get a job in Vancouver with a salary of over 100K. My question is, while I'm looking for a job in Vancouver with a salary of 100K, I've received some offers around 80K from a smaller companies. However, based on my experience and comparing myself with others, I believe I should be able to get a better job in a large company with higher salary and better benefits. So, should I start working at a small company with a lower salary, or should I wait and continue searching for a better opportunity at a big company? So, Majid, I would say it's very personal and it depends on your savings, dude. If you have enough savings and enough money to support yourself to find a great job, just do that. But if you cannot afford being jobless, because you said you already been jobless for 3 months and you want to be jobless for another 6 months, then definitely get a job so you can support yourself until you find the next job. Like, I don't get your question. Do I get it right? Because you were asking, should I start working at a small company? If you have the offer of a small company, then yes. Like, why not starting and then finding a job beside that? Uh, I think that's the common sense, right? Unless you mean something else that I don't know, or unless you want to put the same effort and time to get a lower salary job in a small company, which requires you to do the same thing to do a good job. So I would say no. It's like just do the good job, get the good job, do the same effort, get the good job. But if you have like it's reachable, we call it low hanging fruit. Okay, in marketing we call it low hanging fruit because when you go to a tree, you see lots of fruit, right? Which fruit you pick? The one that is lowest, low hanging fruit. You pick that first. You taste it, then you go up. Same thing. If it's low hanging fruit for you, a small company, if you can get it fast, you've been jobless for 3 months. And I always tell you guys, 3 months jobless, quantify it. You're losing 100K because you don't have it. Every month is costing you $10,000 plus. You have grocery, you have rent, you have car insurance, you have all other costs. At least 5,000 per month in a city like Vancouver, right? So you're already 15,000 negative per month. You've been jobless for 3 months. You're negative $45,000. Don't forget that. You just stop bleeding. Stop the bleeding. You're bleeding, right? You're bleeding 50K per month. Now it's 45K. How do I stop it faster? Stop that bleeding faster. That's the most important thing. However you can get a job in a small company, but don't get a job in a toxic environment. That's all I'm saying. Don't get a general job because you will be drained so much physically you cannot find time to apply again. Okay, these two avoid. Avoid the toxic environment and avoid general jobs because but unless you have to, those two will just drain you dry, drain your energy so much you cannot even find a good job. Okay, that's my tip. Haria, my current situation is, guys, we're on time, and probably I answer one or two questions, and then we'll leave the rest to the next week. So, Paria, I feel that I may have approached some people in the wrong way when trying to build professional connection, and now I'm worried that those connections may be permanently lost. Yes, that is a possibility. My desired situation, I want to build meaningful professional relationship and improve the way I network and we connect with people. Therefore, my question is, if I did not take the right approach when first connecting with people, does that mean those connections are lost forever, or is the good way to reconnect? Good question, Paria. Depends. So we always say the first impression is the most important impression you leave on anybody. And especially on LinkedIn or text, it's really hard to make the second impression as good as the first one. So if you've lost an opportunity because of something that you did or you weren't good in the first impression, it is really difficult to make it up in the. So my advice is just move on and find other people and learn how to make meaningful relationship, which we teach in CCM. So learn that and stop doing the same mistake with new people. But can you make it up with the other people? Yes, why not? You can always rebuild a lost relationship with somebody, but it might be difficult. They might just have moved on, because if it's much easier in person. When you see someone they don't like, you see the second time at the school or university, then things click and sparks and something big happens. One of my best friendships came from that. The first interaction was very bad, the second and third was good, and then we became super good. But on text and LinkedIn is really sometimes hard to rebuild the relationship. But I would be very honest with them. I'll just go back to them, and once I learn, I'll go back to them and say, "Sorry, I didn't know at the time how to build a professional connection, and now I learned it. I'm back, and maybe you can fix that." Totally possible. Masood, my current situation is I have more than 8 years of experience in IT and satellite, but in Europe now it's more than 2.5 years in Canada with general low paid job and had some interviews every 2 3 months. So if you have interviews every 3 months or every 2 months, that is something you need to work on. With our system, you get 5 interviews per week, but never had the chance to get a job. Yes, interviews every 2 3 months. Don't expect a job offer, guys, because job offer is a conversion. It comes from a lot of interviews. So once you start getting a lot of interviews, then out of those we can expect job offers. So that is the first uh, problem, or first thing you need to solve for, is to how to have more interviews, and we teach it by networking. Then out of those we teach you how to get job offers. Okay, so my desired situation, I'm trying so hard to make a greater and more effective network. Perfect. It sometimes helped me with a reference and an interview, but nothing yet. Yes, this whole sentences is a skill, as in a, and it's something that you have to do. So in the mastermind we teach you how to do networking properly. We teach you what to say. We give you a script. All that is given to you. You just do the work, and it takes 1 month to build that network we want you. On the second month you start seeing the cascade of the effects. Okay, on the second month you start seeing the 5 interviews per week. It doesn't happen the first month. 1 month, 30 days, you have to do all the tasks every day. And then on the second month, you start talking to people. And but if you have a general low paid job, my worry for you is that you might be too tired at the end of the day to do the thing. So always ask the other person got a job in my first program. She had a general job. She was too tired, and the strategy that we did, I asked her to go talk to the manager and take 3 days off instead of working every day, 6 or 8 hours, I don't remember. She then decided to work 3.5 days, 3.5 days off. Okay, and then the 3.5 days that she was off, she had all energy, wake up, coffee, work hard on the things that we teach. She were able to get a job after 4 months. She recently told me that she got the job. So yeah, you need to make sure that you have enough energy to work hard with the networking that we teach you guys. The things that you learn in free zone, it's the networking. But if you want the step by step how to make that network, how to make the best out of that network, the blueprint, the 100K blueprint, it's in the mastermind. Okay. Therefore, my question is, I'm getting disappointed about the experiences I've had. I'm thinking about changing the career direction in IT. As you know, changes every day. Thinking maybe other careers in IT gave me a better chance. Uh, that get me their new career, but super competitive. Start something not in IT anymore, because no, no. Again, I've talked about it a lot. You don't change your career or direction because you don't know how to apply. This is actually the most dangerous syndrome that you guys can get into, because you don't know how to find jobs or networking or getting interviews properly. You send your application to void. You send your application to the black hole. You don't get result, and you think it's you. You take it personally. It's not personal. Somebody with 8 years of IT and experience in Europe. You're not saying back home. It's Europe, so it's good. It's sellable. You have 8 years of that. Okay, don't take this opportunity for granted. Learn how to get those jobs easy without changing your direction. I've it's interesting. I'm getting a lot of people like you that are so desperate of finding a job, they want to change the career, they go get another certification, then after 1 year they come to the same place. Okay, now what? It's not like that. It's not like, don't take it personal because you just didn't know how to approach it. Problem, guys, finding a job needs a degree. Like, you get a BTE certification in finding a job. It's like, because I come from HR, I understand these things. You come from I'm a IT too, but imagine you're in satellite. I don't know nothing about satellite. You've been 8 years in satellite, so you know enough about satellite, but you don't know nothing about getting jobs. This is a certification you're getting here. You're becoming BTE certified on how to hunt jobs. So with that experience, don't make a costly mistake of changing your career, because you just need to learn how to get those jobs. And that's a science. That's a science and practice. If you've been sending your application for 2.5 years on Indeed, probably, or just applying blindly, you've been sending your applications to a black hole. Nobody ever looked at you. So it's not on you. Don't take it personal. It's on the system that you never learn. Okay? There is definitely a solution for you. I'm sorry that you have to work in a general low pay job after 8 years of satellite in Europe. I'm so sorry, but I'll definitely think that you have a very good background and very good experience to change that, to change the narrative. And you're not the first person. Go to Vince, member Vince, and watch the interviews. A lot of people came to me after 2 years of applying, being so desperate, being so low on energy, and they changed it. They changed it because they learned the secrets. Now you're powerful, you're strong, you know where to go, what to do, and you claim back your confidence, guys. Claim it back. You immigrated for a reason. You didn't immigrate just for the weather, and especially if you're in Canada and Toronto, weather sucks. But if you're in Vancouver, get those jobs, enjoy life. Don't work on a general job. A general job is not for you. There are enough immigrants from African countries that can do the general job. You, as a smart person with lots of background, technical background, especially like whoever was had gone to a high school back home with the level of mathematics and physics that we learned, is probably more qualified than any other uh, labor and workforce out there in North America. I can guarantee that. Like, the only physics and mathematics we learned, we had to learn, made us so agile and nimble that whenever you go to any IT industry, especially IT, you can pick it up so fast because we have been trained in high school like that. So I don't want to see another my peer working at a general job, whereas getting a job is super easy, but you just don't know how. This is where we learn how. Just do the challenge and you know how. But a step-by-step blueprint will give you in the mastermind. Okay, guys, thank you for the time. It was a great 1 hour, 10 minutes, both in the webinar and the Q&A section. I really enjoy your questions sometimes, and I look forward to the next Sunday so we can discuss more strategy and answer more questions. Make sure to book a call if you think you're a good fit for Mastermind, because it's just going to be more expensive from next week, I'm gonna increase the investment, and it's a commitment. You don't pay it upfront. We have an installment plan, but it's gonna be amazing. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Have a great rest of the week, or it's have a great Monday. Bye bye.